Hello, Toastmasters. We don't have guests today. Everybody knows me. I'm Mario Lopez, and I'm a programmer analyst. And those who know me and those who have heard me speak before know I have a literal perspective or literal point of view. And you might say I have an analytical thinking process that helps me to get my job done. Today, I'm going to speak on choice. I'm going to talk about good choices and bad choices. What makes up good choices and bad choices? A lot of what I'll be speaking about today, you've all heard before or experienced it for yourself. But I'm hoping this speech will help you with future decisions and or serve as a reminder to help you build better habits. Choice is simply defined as options to choose from. Some people define choice as a verb, an act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. I'd say that this definition sounds more like the definition for decision and not of choice. There are good choices and bad choices, choices that result in good things that happen or bad choices that result in injury. Now I'm starting to sound like a lawyer. Good choices are choosing the correct numbers to win a multi-million lottery, or a bad choice that results in a traffic accident with serious injuries. Everyone can probably relate to that. There are certain risks to some choices, especially the choices where we're not sure the outcome. There are subjective choices like choosing shoes to wear or something ordered on a menu from a restaurant. There are choices that are made based on choices made in the past. And I would define those choices that we make in the past choices that limit or expand our choices today. Some examples are like the choice to go to college. You go to college and that opens up a bunch of doors for you to get different types of jobs. Whereas the choice to rob a bank limits your choices because you'll most likely get caught and thrown in prison, and then you have very little choices. One other thing about expanding and limiting your choices is that money expands our choices. And that's the one big thing about money, is it gives you more choices. Some examples are if you do win the lottery or you get your hands on a lot of money, you can go to the store and buy a lot more than when you didn't have the money, or you can go on vacation, or you can buy a car, or you can buy drugs, get yourself in trouble, that kind of thing. I define choice as either math or English. In math, 1 + 1 always equals 2. It's mechanical, and once you know how to do a mathematical process, it's easy because you can always arrive at the same answer for that particular equation. English, on the other hand, is more subjective, and there are always exceptions. So there are math choices and English choices. A good math choice would be holding up a bowling ball and making the choice to let it go. It's always going to go down. Picking lottery numbers is subjective, and it's an English type choice because you never know if the numbers you choose are going to come up, and for some people they come up and they win. So what exactly do I think is the process of obtaining a choice? For me, the first thing that comes to mind is that I'll come to a place of decision, and this is one of those things, we know what comes first, the chicken or the egg, because we have choices we can make every day, every minute of our lives, and I believe that certain choices depend on the event, like am I proactive or am I being forced to make a decision based on an event? It's then when I come up to a place where I'm forced to make a decision that I start looking at my choices or my options. Sometimes having a goal gives us choices, like buying a house. I want to buy a house, so I'm going to make a choice. Before I go off to college, I say, well, what college do I want to attend? What job do I want to have? How much is this job gonna make me? And so forth and so on. What bank do I want to go for a loan? Robert Frost, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Lewis Carroll, who wrote Alice in Wonderland, Alice came to a fork in the road. Which road do I take, she asked. Where do you want to go, responded the Cheshire Cat. I don't know, Alice answered. Then, said the cat, it doesn't matter. I believe you have the best choices when you have a lot of time and are not pressured and are able to take into account what people with experience have to say. The worst choices are made when you are emotional or are made with emotion or are faced to make a decision with limited options because you're under pressure. You're usually faced with limited choices when you wait too long. I believe time tends to limit choices. Like when you have a bill that's due, when you run out of time, the only choice you have to pay is to pay it or face penalties and interest, or car maintenance, or your teeth. Everybody knows what I'm talking about there, because if you wait too long, you end up getting a root canal or getting the tooth pulled. With some of these choices, it can also get very expensive. It is said that values tend to create our choices for us. I believe that statement in part is true. Roy Disney, who's the brother of Walt Disney, says, it's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. But I want to end my speech in saying that I believe that the biggest influence of our choices are not our values, but our life perspective. I believe that second to life perspective are the prior choices we've made in life, and that has the second most influence on our present choices. Thank you very much.